The car that we're taking a look at today is probably my favorite manual car I've ever driven. In fact, it's probably my favorite car I've driven this year. I'm James, this is Test Drive, and today we're doing an in-depth tour of the 2024 Acura Integra Type S. I'm gonna show you the exterior, interior, and then of course we're gonna take you on the drive and I'm gonna tell you every single thing you need to know for the Acura Integra Type S. Let's get started. So let's start off with what is powering this 2024 Integra Type S. We have a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 with VTEC. It's nice to see VTEC make a little bit of a return, and that's gonna give us 320 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. The starting price for this Integra Type S is $58,300 Canadian. It's also paired with a 6-speed manual transmission for the Type S this year. That is the only one that it comes in, does not come in a CVT, and that is a good thing. And last but not least, it is only a front-wheel drive. There is no all-wheel drive variant of the Type S for the 2024 model year, but as you'll see when I take it for a drive, it's not gonna matter. So with all the specs and numbers out of the way, let's take a full tour of the exterior, and then we'll get right into the interior. So starting up front first with the Integra Type S, the first thing that stands out is the absolute stance of this thing. The fender flares right here on the side, they absolutely come out and just look like it's ready, and it's a constant attack mode. We also have a front vent here up front. All the aero that you see, all the vents, they're all active aero, they're all usable, they're all real. We have these really nice daytime running LEDs with the main headlight just below it. Then we have Integra right on the front. I love this. I love when cars have badges everywhere, so let's put them here. We also have a Type S badge here and the big Acura logo. No front-facing camera, but we do have front-facing parking sensor, so that is a nice thing to have. I find the whole exterior of this car nice to look at, but the front end has to be my favorite. These fender flares are also my favorite. I cannot get enough of them. They're so cool to look at, and it looks even better on the road. So next up, we're taking a look at the side profile for the Integra Type S. We have the Type S badge right here, nice turn signal LEDs. Again, you can get a good shot of those big wheels, that gunmetal rim. You can get them in the bronze, but I prefer this exact trim. If I was gonna buy the Integra today, I would take this black with those red brake calipers. You can't go wrong. They even say Acura on them, so you know, badging galore, we love it. And again, we get a good view again of these back fenders. The back fenders seem to come out just as much as the front fenders here, and it's just so nice. We do have a sensor for locking and unlocking, but obviously the unlocking, you put your hand in there with the key in your pocket, it'll unlock. I don't know how that's going to do in the winter because I haven't really tested it. It is cold because I have the jacket on, but not winter cold yet, if you know what I mean. If you thought the front of the Integra Type S was nice, get a load of this rear. The first thing that's going to stand out is that tri-exhaust, and they're big. They're big and they're very noisy. So if I rev it out just in standing, you don't get the burbles and pops. But if I do a drive-by, you might hear them. And then also we have a big rear diffuser on either side. Integra badge right here. I love these tail lights right here. They're super nice, super well done. Again, the black, usually I don't like black cars. The black for the Integra Type S is the way to go. I really think it is. We do have a rear-facing camera here, as well as this tiny wing. You'll notice that the Type R, very similar to this car, although not made by the same manufacturer or not made in the same area anyways. This car is very much made in North America. The Type R has a big wing. This one has a smaller wing because it is the more, we'll say, adulty version of the Type R, which is, you know, my way of things. I really like it. And we also have, since this is kind of like a hatchback kind of car here, Type S badge right there as well, which we love. And then we open up the trunk. We've got plenty of room, a surprising amount of room. I wasn't expecting it. You are trading a little bit of headroom in the rear though for this amount of trunk room and for this amount of trunk height. It's a deep well. It's very deep back here. I could, you know, almost sit in there straight up and have, obviously I'd have to bend my head, but I can almost sit in there fully. And if you fold the seats down, you're gonna have a ton of room in this thing. It just adds to the practicality, and the usability for a car like this is surprising. So now I'm in the back seat in the rear of the Acura Integra Type S, and you can see that my head, if I sit up straight like a normal human, I am touching it. Like, I am touching it, I'm touching the back, my hair is rubbing up against it. I don't have that much headroom. This is what I said in the back. You're trading it a little bit for that trunk space, for the way that it opens, but it's not terrible, because I usually, honestly, I'm gonna expose myself. This is how I sit. Like, I don't sit properly at all. My posture is terrible. So, like, this is how I sit. So me, I'd probably be fine for a road trip here, no problem. I'm still kind of touching the back here though, because it really has an aggressive slope. But I mean, that's probably the worst part of the interior. Other than that, we have only 4 seats, does not seat 5. There is cup holders right here on the floor, and there's no seatbelt. There's no third seatbelt back here. So I only got 2. So this car only seats 4. Maybe if you have, like, you need 3 seating, it's not the best option for you. But personally, I don't, so I could still justify it. But there's a lot of red back here, a lot of red. If you're a fan of red on the interior, this is gonna get you. It's got me really good. I've got enough space, like legroom wise, just underneath the driver's seat, that is quite low actually, lower than I actually thought. But I can see, like, the whole interior. Visibility back here is great. The only thing we're missing is like a moonroof or a sunroof kind of thing. I feel like that would have been cool to see in here. Like, for the price point, I feel like its competitors are doing that, so it would have been nice to see. But it's okay that it's not there, because it really matters what's happening in the driver's seat and what's up front. So let's hop into the driver's seat and take a look up there. So now I'm sitting up front in the Acura Integra Type S. It is the best place to spend time. There's a great mix here of red and black. We can also see that I have Type S embroidered on the seats, which, I love the badging, so I love that too. I just love the mix. I love how it doesn't look like it's this crazy sports car, but at the same time, it looks fast, which is cool. We also have an ELS Studio 3D audio system, which is fantastic in here. It's this big silver line. I like how they kind of added the silver in here to the door panel. Looks really nice. It's good to split the colors up in the interior. It doesn't make things boring. The gauges and stuff do kind of remind me of the Civics a little bit, especially the infotainment. There is a lot of like Civic-esque in here, but I don't mind it. It's very usable, very quick. There's nothing like built-in navigation or anything, but we do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as the wired version. So that is a pass in my book. I do like to see that. Also, it's not a big screen. I feel like for most it might be too small nowadays, but for me, because the car isn't too big, the screen isn't that bad either. We also get a fully digital gauge cluster that is also customizable. So you could link it to your drive modes. You could have it stay the same all the time if you like a certain mode, and you can also change the information that displays in it. And it's a very good job in terms of customization. I love that as well. The steering wheel feels really, really good in the hand. It's not too big, not too small. It's actually the perfect size for everything. Then we have a heated steering, the Type S badge right here, which is also nice. And it's just hard to go wrong with it. The steering wheel controls also feel very clicky. Like, it's just, everything feels like premium, and I like that. Also, like the knobs, they feel very premium as well, which is what you're looking for when you hop in to an Acura. Then we have a wireless charging pad, as well as USB-C and normal, so that's good. And then we have some drive mode selectors, the parking brake, which is not manual, which I don't like that. No matter what you tell me, I don't like electric parking brakes, especially in manual, especially if you're like a beginner to intermediate. Sometimes you might forget that it's even on, because the manual one, it's up in your face. It's kind of right there. I prefer the manual one much more. But we do have an excellent 6-speed manual transmission shifter. Once you get to learn how to use it, it's really great. It's almost magnetic. I'll gush about it when we drive. Don't worry, it's coming. Yeah, I love it. It's very, very nice. Type S right underneath it. When you have drinks inside these cup holders, they're very low. Like, I noticed when I first got into the car, I'm like, these cup holders are deep, but it's for a reason, because when you have a big drink in here, you're not going to be rubbing on the straw and missing your shifter. It's going to be pretty neat and tucked in so that you're just over that, and it gives you that room. Very, very nice design by Acura there. Then last but not least, we do have a little bit of storage in the center console here. Not too much, but I wasn't really expecting much storage-wise from this car, because we do have a lot of trunk space, so that's a big plus. Now, with everything out of the way, showed you the interior, the exterior. Now we're going to get to the fun part. Let's take this thing on the road. All right, I am in my favorite seat in the house, driving on the road with the 2024 Acura Integra Type S, and the weather has started to become nicer. The roads have started to become drier, so hopefully I can give you guys a good time and enjoy it myself as well, because that's all I've been doing all week, is just enjoying this car, trying to soak up every bit of what it has to offer, because I don't get to keep them, and I don't even get to keep them for that long, because they go away so fast. So I do have a couple different drive modes. I've got Sport Plus, I've got Comfort, which kind of like dulls everything, and then I've got Individual, where you can customize what you want to be activated. So, you know, if you want suspension in Sport, different stuff like that, suspension in Comfort. So it does have adaptive suspension, which I'll talk about in a second, but let me throw it over into Sport Plus, where the suspension is very stiff, and hopefully you can hear the exhaust, because it's gonna rip. So let's go. Woo! Oh my God. That, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best sounding engines, and I'm sure you hear it. I'm sure you can. There's no way you can't. There's no way you can't hear it. It's one of the best sounding engines I have been or had the privilege to be in all year. It's been the best sounding engines, best used transmission. Like the clutch pedal, I'll be honest, has no feel at all. So at a beginner, it's a little bit difficult to feel it. But once you get a sense of how it works, how to shift it, you're perfectly fine. Like this shifter, once you get going, is magnetic. It just falls, it slides into gears. There's no like resistance at all. It's not hard to downshift. It's not hard to upshift. It's just fantastic. The hype is absolutely real with the Integra Type S, and you really don't get that impression until you really take it on the road and truly understand it, which is why I'm so glad I've had a week with it to truly get that impression, to truly get that power from it, and just like, oh my God, it's music to my ears. It's just so good. Like, I can't get enough. I can't get enough, and I can't stop. I cannot stop driving. I think I've refueled this car like 4 times, which is the most I've ever done. I've spent a fortune on gas because, you know, the gas mileage is 10.4 liters per 100 kilometers, but I don't think I'm even getting that. I think it's worse, and I don't care, because I only have a week, and I want to remember this forever. It's like, if I had the money, and if the climate wasn't so bad here, this would be slam dunk. I'd be in the dealership tomorrow, begging them to give me one of these at MSRP, because I don't know if in Canada it's like that, but in the States, I think I've seen a lot of MSRP markups, and a lot of people struggling to get these at MSRP. I don't think they're worth over MSRP. I wouldn't recommend paying it at that price. It's just not worth it. But oh my goodness. For me, the engine noise, the ease of use, the practicality, the fact that it doesn't look too crazy, but it also looks fantastic at the same time, it's worth every penny. It's got just enough features in here. Like, I've got heated seating, heated steering, I've got Apple CarPlay, got a decent infotainment, really good gauge cluster. It's also got downshifting, rev match downshifting as well, which is really nice. So like, you know, it's easier for a beginner to pick this up. It's easier for people who are maybe afraid of manual to just pick this up and start doing it, because once you learn how to get going, downshifting is easy, you know, upshifting is pretty easy as well. The rev matching really does help you, and it's just fantastic sounding. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it into individual mode because I'm starting to bump around a lot, and oh, there you go, it's done. The bouncing around has finished. We're in individual mode, but the exhaust is still gonna crackle, pop, and bang. I have full speed, but I'm comfortable. I'm not getting my spine rearranged. It's such a good system, and I believe the Type R has actually just gotten that system, the individual mode, where you can put the adaptive suspension into comfort mode and have a nice and easy ride, which is great. It's just, they've thought of everything and then some with this exhaust. Like, the Type R is much quieter than this car because it's built in Japan, where they have different laws on audio levels for cars. This, the Acura, is built by the Acura team, and it's built in North America, where our laws are a little bit less strict and we can make it a little bit louder. I am on winter tires. I am So I do feel like I slide a lot in second gear. I feel like the winter tires cannot handle the power that this thing wants to put down. They're mandatory here in Quebec. We have no choice. I have to have them on right now. So that's the only thing. It's like, I wish I had this in the summer with warm, with a warm road surface, warm temperatures, and actual summer tires, the sticky ones. I think you could get probably way better launches out of this thing than I'm currently getting. But even at that, I'm still having so much fun. Like, just listening to the exhaust, I'm gonna record it and just make it my ringtone. You can hear it, bap, bap, bap. Oh my goodness. Now I can see some people making the argument that, well, at 50K, 56,000, almost 60,000 with taxes and everything, you're missing a sunroof, we don't have ventilated seats, no 360-degree camera, no memory seating. Yeah, you would be right. You would be right, that is missing, and I do notice it. Not so much the ventilated seating because it's freezing out here, but I do notice all the other stuff. But it depends what you want. Like, the enthusiasts will eat this car up and they won't care, because I don't care about the ventilated seats, the lack of sunroof. All those things are nice to have, but they're not necessities. To me, I got my heated steering, fantastic. I got my heated seating, fantastic, because the summer is a lot easier to deal with non-ventilated seats than it is the winter with non-heated seats and non-heated steering. The shifter does get cold in the really, when it drops to minus, it gets cold if you leave the car on for a while. But once the car's been running, it kind of warms up with your hand and stuff, so it's fine, holds the temperature well too, so no problems there either. Yeah, it's just drive it. Go out and drive it. Even if you haven't driven manual before, go out and try to drive it, because I don't think you'll regret it. I really do think that the hype is real here. Yeah, I can't say, I struggle to find bad things to say about it, and that's when you know you have an excellent car. It's the enthusiast car that doesn't want a Type R, and that has a little bit more in the budget and needs a little bit more practicality. There it is. I haven't driven the Type R yet, which is funny. Usually people drive the Type R first and then this one, but that's just not how things worked out, I guess. The Type R wasn't available at the time, so I took the Type S, because who in the right mind would say no to it? So, there it is. It's just a fantastic car. It's a fantastic daily driver, and it's got more horsepower than anybody could need. It's got enough to get you in trouble and enough to beat almost anybody. I've been challenged. You're going to get challenged to races if you daily in this car. I've been challenged a few times, and without breaking the law, I have shown them who's boss, and it has always been the Integra Type S. So there you go. They can take that. So yeah, it's just, I've just been having a blast. I'll continue to have a blast until I have to give this back out. I'm going to drive this thing to the very end. I'm going to try to spend my entire weekend in it. And yeah, because it's just that good. Honestly, it's just that good. I don't find myself having a lot of nice things to say sometimes about, like I said, the MDX didn't impress me. So I wasn't expecting a lot from the Type S. I will be fully honest there. I really wasn't expecting much, but they blew me away. Maybe I'm just not an SUV guy. I really don't think I am. I didn't think I was a manual guy either, but the Integra has also changed that. So you never know what could happen. So that being said, before I continue on all day, I can probably do like a 4-hour podcast with this car, and I would just drive it for 4 hours straight, completely fine. Before I go, one more thing. It does have adaptive cruise controls, but it's not great. That's the thing. It's really not meant to be like a cruiser. It's meant to be more like a, daily commuter kind of thing. You're not supposed to really go on road trips because it kind of disengages the adaptive stuff, and it doesn't tell you when to shift or do any of that. So I just wanted to add that in quick. And now I will go ahead and get out of here. I'll see you the next week. See you next car. Take care.